ladies and gentlemen, we got 6 o'clock. We're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance, and then I'm going to ask you to remain standing for prayer. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Lord, we thank you for another beautiful day. We pray that you would be with us throughout our service this evening as we do the city's business and give us safe passage afterwards. And all this we ask in your most holy name. Amen.
Okay. Go ahead and call the City of Pottsville's council meeting for September 22nd, 2025 to order. Ms. Fowler, can you please do the roll call?
Pam Scarver.
Here.
Brenda Blaylock.
Here.
Steve Williamson.
Here.
John Heflin.
Here.
Karen Crothers. John Schaefer.
Okay, have you gotten a chance to review the August 25th, 2025 meeting minutes? Entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes from August 25th, 2025.
So moved. Second.
Got a motion, got a second? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. We'll go to department head reports. Chief Richard.
I gave you all a little bit of an example of what I was doing different last month, and I started working on changing up the report, and I started giving you all some statistical percentages and some graphs rather than just having the typed word. As of the 19th, we had 174 calls for service this month, and so I put in that graph where you can look at the previous month as to what they've been, and pretty much they're all kind of pretty well consistent across the board as the way the end of the month will pick up. There's probably been at least 25 or so calls for service since this graph was printed, so just kind of give you all an idea. Give you a statistical percentage pie breakdown of what AOC means. That's Arkansas Office of the Courts. So if you want to know what that meant, and that comes directly from the district court, as all those statistics do. Next one to give you how many citations we've written for the month. We wrote 70 citations in total. We had 104 warnings were issued. The next page, this is not completely inclusive because RPS, our reporting system, decided to give me all kinds of fits. Give Darlene fits last week and then me some more today, and I've messed with it off and on all day today trying to get this thing to work for me. We had identity theft was the most recent thing that we've had. Unlawful possession of a skimmer device. Johnson and Polk County both have got hit over the last several days. Video shows that ours was installed Saturday at our local Dollar General store, and it was recovered this morning. And we don't know yet until after that device has been scanned as to whether or not it was just a simple recording device or if it was a transmitting device, so we don't know yet. Being there has been so many of them in Russellville, I think Russellville is wanting to go ahead and just take this one under it, and that way they can just go ahead and run it all together as a ongoing thing with these guys. There were three of them. We got video. Our store had the best video and still photographs, so they're going to run it through the FBI for facial recognition and see if they can identify who these three individuals are. So they're not on our radar for anything. We didn't have anything on them per se
excuse me, on your old one, you had the state police, what they would,
That is included in that.
Okay.
All I done was just simply include it.
Okay.
If you would like to have that one on there as an addition, I'll be more than happy to put it
no,
on
I
there.
just used to what I was
Yeah.
saying.
You might keep what trainings you did for the month.
The training,
Yeah.
I would have done the training normally anyway, but like I said, I've had good technical difficulties today.
I like to hear that, so,
Yeah.
training part.
Yeah, I always like to put your training in there and whatnot, but yeah. Is there anything else y'all would like to see?
Thank you,
All I got.
Chief Barry?
Well, I'm sitting here thinking about, I bought a bag of sugar at Dollar General yesterday for my hummingbirds. That's all I can think about. My car. Well, I just turned it off. I hope y'all did too. Wow. No wonder I forgot my handouts for tonight, but, I left work real quick, but I have, basically, we had 27 calls for service last month. Of those 27, 12 were fire related, 13 was medical related, and then there was 2 MVCs with injury. We did have a legitimate structure fire on Day Road the Sunday before Labor Day, and it couldn't have worked out better than it did, because we were actually on a grass fire, and all just come back to the station, and you could literally almost see the house from Station 2 where we was putting everything back together. So an extremely large house, had a lot of fire on the same floor, but we was able to put it out, and the homeowner was extremely pleased. So training hours for this month, it's when I was putting together my report, it's about 125 hours total. It's up a little bit because we currently have a member that is enrolled in EMT school, going to EMT school twice a week. And then we also had 2 more individuals complete. Well, one individual completed the EMR, and the other one completed their initial intro to fire safety and PPE training. So mutual aid calls, we did receive mutual aid on 2 separate occasions. One was the structure fire. Well, actually, it was both those fires that day. The grass fire was actually at the Atkins Possible line. It was actually our call, and then we had mutual aid from both Russellville and Atkins at the structure fire. And then we provided Atkins mutual aid twice last month, and Russellville mutual aid once. Outside of that, that's all I have to report.
Have we any more issues over at the storage units with people getting locked in?
Not recently, not since the last time we talked about it, so I think, I'm hoping we got the message across. You know, every time I drive by there, I kind of take a look at it and see, and especially at night, because I don't live too far from it. So far, it's been okay, maybe it's resolved. I'm thinking the letter that Mr. Phillips said probably resolved.
Okay. That's good.
Anything else?
Thank you, sir. Public Works?
Since the last council meeting, Public Works has completed 32 shut-offs, and on hand, and 2 of those remain off. 24 work orders that are various, those are located or attached to that. 25 locates, we cleaned out a ditch on South River Road and replaced 1 culvert, replaced 2 culverts on McNulty Road, cleaned the shoulders of the road on River Road to help shed the rainwater, and we're gonna go continue doing that throughout the city. Clear brush at River Road, Hillsborough Road intersection. Pour concrete around the catch basin on South River Road to stop erosion next to the road that was washing out underneath the road. Gravel Station 2, Circle Drive for the fire department. Gravel U Lane. Put out a half pallet of co-mix, replace missing road signs on River Road. Fixed 2 main breaks, one on Highway 247 and one on Highway 363. Inspected 1 fire hydrant for a leak on D Street. Pulled samples for the main extension on Mountain Base Road. Dug a trench at Papazian for some new power that was put in, and replaced the lots at Thomas Morris Park. $0, event card, 0 again.
Okay, for the code enforcer, not gonna have a brief today because this is his first official day, but John Wisecup will be our new code enforcer. John's retired out of the Air Force. Has been working for FEMA for the last 18 years, so we're excited to have him on board. For planning and zoning, we have upcoming ordinance probably be presented to the council next month for right-of-way permits and processes for businesses that are conducting work in our right-of-way. Just something that gives us a little more teeth and require them to submit a bond to the city. So we'll be looking at that. I'll present that to the planning commission this month. And Falls Sinclair store.
On Fall Sinclair store, Mayor Gray and I talked to the electrician. They've run electrical into the, well, they've run the conduit and all into the building. We just need the wiring running and finish that this last week. And so we will have electrical inside, and currently we're just gonna run some lights down the middle, temporary, until we can get the big lights overhead, but have enough that we can use it. And when we have our trunk or treat, or what are we calling it?
Yeah, trunk or treat.
Trunk or treat, anyway, festival, on October the 30th. We're doing it that night because the Friday night is the Dardanelle Pottsville football game. We will be able to use it inside and not have to have it in here in this room and have a lot more room. And then we can set up our cars for trunk or treat on the side there between the Potts Inn and the grocery store building, and I think it'll work well. Also trying to put together another grant for $50,000. I just keep submitting. So eventually we've got to get one somewhere. But for that one, we're looking at the or the ceiling tiles, and I'm going to get with Chad Railhoven at Brace Paints at Russellville. He's got all the stuff to do the testing, and have him get up there and test what paint's actually on it, and he can tell us what we need to do with it. And then look for we need a few replacement tiles in there as well for that. So I think that's it. I'm excited to have a first event in it. The electrician gave us guidelines on what we need to do to have people in and out, and we'll be able to have it set up. So
Be really, really neat. We'll have 4 or 5 spots. I think it's 4 spots down each wall for vendors to be able to set up
the
there.
way we set it up was every 10 feet, because normally when you have vendors, it's something that's a 10 by 10 area that they rent their booth space for. So we went every 10 feet, and then he's also running one plug-in at the back up higher so that we can hook the temporary lights that we're going to run down the middle, and then was also going to set it up at the far end close to the front door where we can set up a light for the exit sign so that we will be in compliance. So.
And then depending on how this project goes and the grant, we're going to be looking at HVAC for the next calendar year for that. So got some exciting stuff going on down there. So ready to get that up and running. Okay, so we're going to move on to old business, starting out with the Highway 64 sewer expansion. I provided a statement to the council just to ensure that we as a city are doing the proper thing with qualified base selection for professional services. We can't turn them off of a bid, but we do have one bid, and I wrote in here, to be candid, I don't like the number that we were given, but I also want to sit down with the Craft and Toll before we decide to move on to the next engineering service, if that's what we choose to do, and see what the best possible solution is to this, because Keith, correct me if I'm wrong, but they said it was a possibility to continue from the north side and head west to that property, but depending on future planning, that's something I'll have to talk with the engineer about. Is it better, more beneficial for us to go the 94 yards to the south and pour across Highway 64? I just think that we need to carefully pick the right person for this job. So I'd like to take a little more time over the next month. I believe that we'll be in a position to prove which company we're going to go with next month. But I don't want to rush into anything prior to sitting down and discussing it with, maybe a couple of these folks. So, I plan to sit down with Crafton and Toll this week to discuss their bid that was given, which this was from last year. So of course, there's probably some difference there, but, I just kinda wanna have a fuller picture before we decide to go with any company before we do anything. And then anybody's questions?
Have you updated Brandon's trash service?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, we did table this last month to a later date, so we're not gonna do a motion on that. Next on old business is the drainage issues on Brooks Drive. Heath, do you wanna come up? I believe he's given y'all some, aerial views where he shot grades, got some updates.
Last month I attached that piece report, I don't know if I looked over it or not, but, there is fall down the road, down D Street, Brooks Drive that they're talking about, Brown Drive. What was the thing? We did good, there is fall. But I'm not gonna touch it, Brown Drive unless it's turned over to the city. So with that being said, there's pictures too that I've looked at, and the 3 inches of rain didn't look horrible, it could look better, so there's some work will be done over there in the future. And other than that, that's pretty much it. And if they wanted to turn that road over to the city, if we wanted to adopt that road, then sure, we could probably dig a ditch over there where they're talking about. They could start buying ditch themselves.
Have you, so the work that's, cause some of that, there's already a ditch, looks like it's falling, it's going across private property. So the people that own the private property, are they, do we need to,
It's the picture that where y'all are asking if it's a pond, that's not a pond.
yeah, and
It's where all the water's going to,
okay.
is their backyard.
Now that's on south northeast. Yeah.
Because to me, it looks like, and tell me if I'm wrong, but it looks like some of that's gonna need to be cut with some more ditches to make, for the street to drain on out, or am I wrong? Or just cleaning, or do we just need to clean the ditches and see if that helps to begin with?
I would recommend spot cleaning the ditches where it's kind of full of water than the other pictures, is what I would recommend. If we're gonna clean the whole ditch out, and we're gonna start from point A, we have to go to the private property. and I'll get permission to do all that.
How many properties are we talking about here?
Across private property.
Yeah. That's something we'd want to reach out to and find out more? Or is it even our business to do that?
Jacob, correct me if I'm wrong, but if we do that, we would have to get an easement from that private property.
Okay.
And then we'd be responsible from then on.
Right. Then the city liability. have to-
So,
It wouldn't be, digging a couple hundred yards of, digging half a mile across faster to get it,
to that point.
start taking down the whole. Line to the woods and stuff like that.
Considering the amount of rain that we had this morning, I was expecting worse than the,
I mean, it wasn't running over the road.
Looks like a hopeless case to me.
Running over there, running.
We can't really judge anything on, by the monsoon we had today. I like to think that's a one every 6 months or year.
and I'm,
So we just need to do a little maintenance to the ditches we have there for right now, and then
see
Brooks
how-
Drive is, that's just if it is turned over to us, then we can add that into it.
If it is turned over to us, is there a solution for it?
Correct me if I'm wrong, you're talking about up on the north side of, Brooks Drive, correct? Where the gravel road's at? Yeah, there's an old ditch there, hasn't been touched in forever.
Okay.
They fixed it.
Doesn't the road, the private road have to meet certain requirements though before we can accept it?
I'll have to check that ordinance, but we do have an ordinance in place.
I don't know if it would be the same as a subdivision. I know there's certain requirements for that. I don't know if it'd be the same or not. Okay.
The thing that I want to clarify with Brooks Drive is we can't stop illegal development, but we can ensure that the stormwater drainage does not affect the other property owners on Brooks Drive. That is something that we are 100% going to do, and we are going to make sure, and the only logical thing that I can think of is that they are going to have to retain their stormwater drainage and ensure that it flows to 331. I think that's the only real solution that I believe. So that's just gonna have to be some very strict processes when we get to that point, when they start submitting for permit applications. We're gonna have to require them to submit a stormwater drainage plan from a licensed engineer. And we just make sure, so we have some sort of peak that we can assure these folks that they're not gonna get any more stormwater than what they already do. And that's how the city, I believe, handles this, is we make sure from day one, before any construction takes place, that we're doing the right thing. So I think we start with that stormwater and drainage plan before any ground's broke, before anything, so.
And do we have the ordinances in place to back us on all this?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
because I want to make sure it's not just this one and then the next one gets,
Right.
moving forward. Okay.
It's proper planning, and I've informed everyone that I've spoken to, Mr. and Mrs. Morton, that before anything we'll accept the permit, but we're not gonna approve that permit or approve any building to happen until the construction group comes before the planning commission and the city council. And we're gonna all sit down and look at this stormwater drainage to ensure that everything's being done legitimately. So if something goes wrong with this development, then it can come back, we can come back and say, you provide us with false documentation. Anything else anybody wants to add?
Could I make a comment about
Yes, sir.
about the issue?
Can you please state your name and your address?
Yeah, my name is Steve Stevenson, and I live at 316 North D Street,
Okay.
which is downstream from Brooks Lane. A few years ago, the city replaced a culvert across from the northwest corner of Brooks Lane and D Street, and put a larger concrete culvert there. And I've always had a problem with the drainage in the ditch, water flowing down. This morning it was terrible. It backed up on the north side of my culvert,
That's something that, we'll look into that for sure, and I'll have Heath touch base with you after this meeting, and we're actively, I'm gonna discuss that a little bit further into the meeting, but we're actively conducting a drainage assessment of the entire city.
I thought of this, you walk there in the corner, when your water still flows from it, but those trees slow it down.
Right.
And if they do anything to clean those trees out, it's gonna increase the flow, and it's gonna increase the issue down, even on P Street now.
Yes, sir. Well, I'll have Heath touch base with you, and we'll get out there and we'll check everything out, and we'll see what we can do on our
I
side.
think where somebody did some surveying, I think it was the next day from whenever we had the first, meeting here, it looked like they done some surveying, and but I guess maybe elevation, on Marshall down the road. And, appreciate that also, I said that y'all are working on the problem. Yes, sir.
Anybody else need to add? Give Heath.
Any questions?
We'll stay engaged in this. I don't want anybody to think that we're not looking into it. It's something that
I understand it's not overnight.
right. We're gonna do our best to fix this problem, and it may be a lengthy process if we do have to go the easement route, but we cannot get on private property.
Look at something and on the wall.
Right. Okay, that's what it is. Okay, so we'll move on to new business. First thing, I want to discuss some updates on recent upcoming changes to the city procedures, as well highlight some of the ongoing projects and initiatives that the city is currently working on. So I provided each of the council members with a report, and I'm just going to kind of highlight each of these talking points. So onboarding and retirement selection process. So Arkansas Code annotated 24-12-123 and Arkansas Code annotated 14-42-117 discusses statutory retirement benefits and APRS. So you can't receive both, but we can ensure we're going to have to offer both, but we're going to have to require something to ensure this doesn't happen again, to where we're holding folks accountable whenever they show up. So what I've done, this will go into our policy and procedures book for, it's a memorandum for record that any full-time elected official will sign a statement stating they are opting in or opting out of APRS and going with local or APRS retirement. And what I want to put in that policy, which I'll bring to you all at a later date for adoption, but we've already started doing it, is that it's required to be maintained on record with human resources and with the city clerk. So the second thing kind of ties into that, doing some updates to the city's policies and procedures manual, which I'll provide to you all in the upcoming months, and we're also reviewing the employee handbook. So we're trying to get this stuff up to date to ensure our policies are reflecting current laws and best practices. So the third thing is the drainage assessment project. So I sat down with Heath my first weekend, and it's a big problem in the River Valley. It's a big problem in Pottsville. We wanted to start doing our own sort of drainage study and what we could do to fix drainage problems throughout the city. So moving forward with projects like these, I would like to release a demographic, but just being, in such a short crunch time, we wanted to hit the ground running. So we've started from South River Road, and we're working our way north, and we'll cover phases. Just kind of how TCW is doing their phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. That's how we're going to do it with the city. So I'll be working on something to kind of get the other phases out to folks on this drainage project that we're working on. I wanted to touch on this. I did submit a street overlay grant application to the state aid city street grant in the amount of $300,000 for a first mile overlay will be from River Road and West Ash, and we'll go a mile south. We have a section, correct me if I'm wrong, Heath, it's about 0.3 miles on South River Road in front of Angel Lake that will be doing a complete overlay if we're awarded this, and approximately half a mile on Bud Chestnut. I've already discussed the right-of-way permit ordinance that I'll be presenting, that we'll be looking at in planning commission and then bringing to council next month. Me and Heath have started to look into the water and wastewater grant through the Arkansas Economic Development Commission for next year. The awardees were just announced last week, so we're kind of looking at that stuff so that we can submit some things and hopefully be at the top of the list next year. There were a lot of cities that received $1 million grant to expand their infrastructure, water and wastewater. So I think that'll be really beneficial to us. Number 7, we've been conducting internal audits across the entire city. Every department I've been trying to make it a point to sit down with and look and make sure that, we're functioning properly, efficiently, and that we're in compliance with standards across the board. So I'm really trying to get that under control. Something that I wanted to bring up tonight is the computer server upgrade. So I've provided you all a copy of the email from our IT folks and the bid that they gave us. The estimated cost is approximately $18,000 and $18,094, which will be shared across 4 different departments for a payment of $4,523.50. One will come from the general fund, the police, public works, and fire. Is that correct, fire? Okay. So we'll split that four ways. The deal is to remain in compliance with legislative requirements and ACIC. We've got to do it's due every 7 years, and we're going to hit 7 in February, so it's something that we're going to kind of plan for before we do make this payment, but it's something that we can't do without. Every time our police officers pull up to the building, it's downloading their video footage straight onto the server, and we're getting constant notices that our server's failing and it's not syncing properly. So we've got to ensure that we get that up to date, but I wanted to be completely open and transparent about that, so when it does come across in the coming months that y'all are aware of that. We talked about the Fall Sinclair store, and then there was something that I want to touch about on one of my weekly updates. I discussed an event committee. So after we kind of sat back and thought about this, I believe the best way that we move forward, this event committee is not going to be a city appointed thing. We'll continue to budget for our community projects, for trunk or treat, Christmas parade, stuff like that. This event committee is going to be strictly volunteer based, and they'll be partnering, for the time being, they'll be partnering with the Pottsville Police Foundation, the nonprofit. So I want it to be on the record that this is not any fundraising that goes on, this is not through the city. This is going through a nonprofit. This is not public funds being spent if we plan to do other events. The city will coordinate with them, and we'll have a line item, but we're not going to be taking this money in, and it won't be public funds. So that's going to be through a nonprofit. I just want that annotated for the record. So Mariah spearheading that, Sarah Ledford, they got a lot of good folks that are out there planning some fun stuff for the kids and the community around here. I want to thank everybody that was engaged in coming out and making Butterfield Days a good success despite the rain. It still turned out really good. We had a good turnout. I'll pause there for any questions that anybody has on any of that I covered. Okay. Moving on to item 2, we have a resolution 2025-2. It's a resolution levying millage on all real and personal property in the city of Pottsville for the year 2025 to be collected in 2026 at the rate of 0 mills. And that's no change. It's been that way for a long time. Nothing. So entertain a motion to approve resolution 2025-2.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion, got a second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Okay, Ms. Fowler, do we have any public comments?
Not that I'm aware of.
Anything from the council? All right, if that's all, I'll entertain a motion, we adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Got a motion, got a second, all in favor, say aye.
All right.
Any opposed, same sign.